Hey,
Hey,
Micah.
hey, Ria, how are you?
Good, good. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday already. How's it going?
It's been going pretty good. How about you? Anything exciting?
Not too bad. Yeah, so all sorts of fun family stuff, and I think in the world of AI, I've seen quite a lot of stuff released recently, so I'm excited to talk with you about that kind of thing today. Um, yeah, I think we got a fun show lined up. So,
Yeah,
what's going on in your world?
there's so many exciting things. Well, first off, for folks that are, joining for the first time, welcome to GenAI Developer Hour. So this is where we talk about all things how to build smarter and not harder. Um, and that being said, Micah, what are some interesting updates you've heard in the past few weeks since we were last on? I know there's a lot of stuff moving with AWS.
Yeah, a ton, and I think it's like an exciting time. I noticed there was a new MCP server announced recently. That was pretty interesting. So there's like an AWS Knowledge MCP server now available, which is interesting to me because it's one of the first ones that I've seen that's actually a remote MCP server, which is a little bit different from most of the MCP servers I've seen so far, which means that rather than downloading the MCP server to your local machine as part of your installation process, it's actually a remote hosted MCP server, kind of like you can kind of think of it like an API. But this one in particular gives you all kinds of live uh, connections to documentation. You can find out about all the available regions that are currently online. So it brings you much more like up-to-date real-time information about AWS into whatever IDE you're using or whatever chat agent you're working with. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
What else?
no, I saw that update. That's really exciting. And there were a couple of new AI launches as well recently. I know one big one that everyone's been talking about lately, and our VP of Agentic AI posted about it. Was it yesterday or the day before? But it's the Agent Core is now GA. So anyone here that's building agents using, LangGraph or Strands or, Crew AI, all of that can now be hosted on Agent Core, and all the infrastructure behind the scenes that is kind of off your chest. It handles all sort of memory, security, all of that for you. So you can focus on actually building your agent and not having to manage all the infrastructure behind it. So that one's a really big, exciting update for
That's awesome.
folks. Yeah.
Ria, I think we should think about doing a show that's just about Agent Core at someday in the future because I think there's so much stuff there, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Hmm.
Um, we've done some internal workshops, I think, recently, which were a lot of fun, but I'm still kind of trying to figure out what is Agent Core, how does it help me, what can I do with it. So I think we should definitely like dive in and do like a deep dive on Agent Core sometime in the near future. What do
Yeah,
you think?
maybe that'll be our next episode. Um, so that was like one big update, and another one that I've been playing around with was Quick Suite. So that actually just went generally available as well, and that's something that I actually wanted to show the group here. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
it,
let's
it's
see.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. Hopefully, you're able to see my screen, but
Yep.
think of Quick Suite, as your teammate. It's like available wherever you're working. So, the way that I've been sort of using it is, well, this is what the interface sort of looks like, and there's like so many different things you can do. You can chat with agents, you can create different workflows. Um, One thing that I did to actually prepare for today's episode is run like the deep research capability. So I asked it, provide me research on video search capabilities, what's the state of the art, what have folks been working on the past few years in terms of like model creation, that sort of thing. So it actually generated the report. It does take about like 15, 20 minutes or so, depending on the prompt, um, to generate this sort of deep research report, but it is so thorough. Like, it's pretty cool to see all the different references, things like that.
Yeah.
But I've been loving Quick Suite lately, and yeah, have you played around with it, Micah?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm starting to get to know it. I think the research capability is awesome. I've been waiting for something like that for a while.
Mm.
There's a similar research capability in Claude Desktop, which I use all the time. It's really powerful. So the ability to like go out and download a whole bunch of content from the internet, roll that
Mhm.
up all up into a context, and come up with basically like a research paper about what you're interested in. For me, it's like a great way to learn like pretty much any topic. So it's really nice, and I'm happy to see it here in Quick Suite. I've also
Yeah,
noticed that Quick Suite is like all over my applications. It's in Word, it's in Outlook,
yeah,
it's in Excel, it's in my browser. So that's kind of fun. Like that, the ability to have that same tool available to me pretty much wherever I work.
yeah.
That's kind of fun, right?
Well, one thing I also saw that it's integrated, like you said, right, with like Word, your Outlook, whatever, but then there's also like different extensions. So like you can connect it to, Salesforce, you can connect it to kind of whatever you'd like. So that's pretty neat. And
Mhm.
speaking of connecting it to everywhere, I noticed that when I was, opening up my browser, I have the option to integrate it within my browser as an extension as well. So this was pretty neat.
So it's just a Chrome extension right there in your
Yeah,
browser. And
yeah.
what can you do with that?
Yeah, I mean, you can summarize, ask questions to it. So for today's, episode topic, we're going to be talking about like video understanding, how to develop applications and how to analyze videos, do search, all of that. And some of the models that 12 Labs actually released, which are available in Bedrock, I can actually summarize this whole page here and actually have it explain what 12 Labs is, the models they offer, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So it looks like it's extracting the key points instead of having to, go through all the content here. It's able to just summarize it for me in a click of a button, which is pretty cool. And I can ask questions, upload files to add more context, that sort of thing. So pretty
Yeah.
neat. So folks that haven't heard about this, go check it out. It's live in GA.
Nice. Yeah, I've my one of my favorite uses for it so far that I'm not going to show you on screen is in Outlook. So you can use it now to summarize email threads. And as we all know, like email gets completely out of control with the replies back and forth and forwarding to people and looping other people in. And so it's a great way to like pull all that information together, summarize what's going on, try to sort of identify what I'm supposed to be doing next with this email, and even drafting up like a response or like a like an overview from my boss, something like that. I think it's fantastic.
Hmm. It's available anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, so that being said, we've talked a little bit about 12 Labs, some recent updates. I think it's a good time to do some introductions for folks that are new today.
Yeah.
So welcome to our show, everyone. We are AWS, Gen AI Developer Hour. Our motto is we build smarter and not harder. I can kick off with some intros. So my name is Riadani. I'm one of the hosts today. I'm a solutions architect here at AWS, been here for about 3 years or so. And one of my focus areas is, diving into Gen AI for dev tools. I'm super involved in the developer community. And I also work with a lot of advertising customers here, helping them build enterprise applications. Yeah, so happy to be here today. We are a monthly series and hope you all continue to keep watching. I'll pass it to Micah.
Yeah. Thanks. So I'm Michael Walter. I'm a senior solutions architect here at AWS. I've been with AWS coming up on 5 years actually now, which I can't really believe. It's kind of coming soon. So I also focus on advertising and marketing technology customers in the enterprise. And I'm really into things like serverless, event-driven architecture, GenAI, anything having to do with dev tools. I've got 4 or 5 different IDEs open at the moment. I can't decide which one I like best. That's just how
Is
it
Kira
is.
one of them?
Kira's one of them, yes. But like I kind of bounce between the different tools depending on my mood sometimes. So yeah, that's kind of me. But why don't
That's
we talk a little bit about our guest today? Who we have today,
yeah.
Kira?
Okay, today we have Lana Zhang. She is one of our Gen AI specialists, and we're really excited to have her on. She's been doing really cool work in the space of, video understanding, video technology, all things AI. So let's bring on Lana.
Hey,
Hey,
Lana.
Lana.
Hi. Hey. Hi, everyone. My name is Lana Zhang. I'm a senior solutions architect from AWS Bedrock team, worldwide specialist org, supporting Bedrock and foundation models. Nice to meet you.
Thanks,
Great. Thanks,
Lana.
Lana.
All right.
Awesome.
So can you tell us a little bit how you got involved with, the space of video understanding and Gen AI and all things AI?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's a pleasure to join the session to engage with the builder community to discuss using AI for development and also for video understanding. So I joined AWS 5 years ago and as a specialist SA since 4 years ago. And then most of this time we're focusing on media, entertainment, gaming, sports type of industry where video understanding is a very major use case. So that's really where the journey started. Through the years, we see how the solution evolve, especially after Gen AI become popular. There's just opened the door for so many possibilities. In the past, there were a lot of things we try to do, like detect different insights from the video, which is less feasible. For now, it's become much easier to do. And then one of the challenge we try to solve is model selection. So some of you may know Bedrock from AWS is our GenAI service, offers a collection of foundation models. A lot of them can support video understanding, image understanding, referred as multimodal understanding. But when it's about your use case, like you have a video, for example, social media, you're watching the streaming and you want to analyze the stream, which one is most suitable for your use case, right? So that's the type of questions we try to helping the customer to better address. So I have a fun project currently ongoing, and hopefully we will get a chance to show it a little bit. It's a workshop we built for Reinvent as a video understanding workshop. So which is a tool. You have your video, and then we give you some instructions so you can quickly try it out using different models, different styles of workflows, and to see which one perform the best for your use case. Quite a lengthy
Awesome.
instruction.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great, Lana. Thank you for that. We have a couple people in the chat. So I see someone from LA. We got someone from Fremont, California. Where else is everyone coming in from? Where are you all joining
Mhm.
from today? Please drop a comment in the chat.
Daniel, Agent Core is GA now, so out of preview, just to answer your question.
Yep. Awesome. Cool. So
Nice.
Lana, I'm really interested in, before we kind of get into your project and your demo, I would love to know a little bit about how you do your work, like what your favorite tools are, your IDE of choice, your AI agent, if you use one, like what do you like to use?
What I like to use? A good question. So depends on the project. So I'm like our job is solutions architect at AWS. It's not it's a customer facing role. So we spend a lot of time meeting customers, and we do POC sample app development, but not most of my time, right? So in terms of development IDE, it's more depends on what you try to write. So for example, the project I'm about to share is comes with a UI, which is a React front-end application, and it has a serverless backend utilizing AWS serverless application like API gateway, Dynamo database, Lambda, step function, etc. So to orchestrating the backend batch process. So for the backend, I'm old-fashioned. I just write it in the Lambda console, AWS console directly. It has a Q developer integration. So it give me a lot of good prompts. And then for the front end, I'm using VS Code for now. If you have better recommendation, I'm open to try out. And then I have the Q developer integration add-on as well.
Mm.
Do
So
you like, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, do you primarily use Q developer in terms of like AI dev tools, or do you switch between various ones, or do you, not heavily rely on AI to develop? I'm curious about that.
It depends. I don't think I'm like I want to use AI for development, so I do it. It's more based on practical reason because it does make my life much easier and more productive by using AI too. Like I think I recall the journey. Step one is when you're writing something, you don't know the answer or you get an exception, you don't know what it means. The fast way just search it, and then it likely lead you to the Stack Overflow, so you can dig into the answers, try to find the reason why it's causing it. With AI, it's much easier, right? So I can just paste it to Q developer. It likely give me a better answer. So step one, it replaces the Stack Overflow for your research and troubleshooting. Some cases when I write into a language I'm least familiar, I may just ask AI to give me the prompt. In the past, I need to check their document. And some others just straight talking. You can do, I know for larger project, people do test-driven development. They may using AI to write a test case first and then start implementation. To me, it's a one-person project. It's for workshop, so I bypassed that. So no offense, engineers on the call. So it's like, yeah, but I use it a lot more on the granular level, like modular level. I think it's related to my background. Like before joining AWS, I was on the engineer side for 20 years, with the latest role as a software architect. So where my job involved a lot of like system integration, modular design, so the team can divide and conquer. So I have this habit of top-down development. So either write it down or in my mind, I have a modular concept and knowing which are the components in my application. So, and then on the granular level, when I really implement each module, I will start to use AI. That's my personal habit. I'm really more than happy to learn the other ways to do it. I feel this is really our singularity point of programming, right? So things grow
Mhm.
accelerated.
Yeah, I love that approach. I feel like you're using like whatever tools make sense in the moment. And for me, like personally, what I find I tend to gravitate toward one tool or another as kind of my like flavor of the month or something I'm really enjoying working in. And then I kind of get stuck on it for a little while, and then I might move on to something else. So I like that idea of just picking the tool that's the most comfortable for whatever project you're trying to work on in the moment. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay. One question I have for you, Lana, is that I mean, we have a number of people on today, and the area of video understanding is a pretty niche topic. So for folks that might be, newer to this space, and especially because it's evolving so much with all the new models that have been released and all the newest innovations, like, can you provide some context into like how far we've come with video understanding, what wasn't possible a few years ago, and what is possible today?
Yeah, absolutely. So for video understanding, we try to promote a framework because it's not a simple problem to solve. It's like some of the modality can be easy from a model evaluation aspect. For example, if you analyze text message or image, even you can probably come up some scientific metrics and apply it to all the models to get a performance benchmark. But for video, it's more difficult because in nature, video by itself is very specific, even for different industries, different type of videos. So one thing we try to oversimplify to classify based on the customer needs, that like there's four categories of video. They share very different requirements and with different sensitivity about accuracy, cost, performance, etc. So for example, it started with the biggest one, which is MAGS, media, entertainment, gaming, and sports. So those ones you're watching VOD like Prime Video. So it's like a video on demand or Disney Video. So those are the the content are most likely TV show, films, documentary, news, sports. So those type of videos are professionally edited, and then they need a video understanding to do a lot of very complex use case analysis. For example, monetization, they want to determine where is the best place to place ads, right? And then without cutting some major thing in the middle. And then they want to say, I want to do contextual ads. For example, the movie currently playing is about a car racing, so suitable to serve some car vehicle related ads to drive more ads revenue. Also, there's a lot of use case from media is requires high accuracy. So for example, I want to have a longer video, I want to analyze it to generate short clips, which is a highlight. So people, when they go to the platform, they can watch a 1 minute trailer. This process is very effort intense. If we can using AI to automate it, that's a plus, right? So media type of use case, there's a lot, very interesting. We can talk about it forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're chatting a whole bunch. I know you've built cool stuff, so why don't you show us what you've built and you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk forever when it's about when it's about video understanding. Video is more. Am I sharing my screen? Should we switch to the screen?
Yeah,
There
let's
we
do
go.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
we
So
go.
I'm sharing the tool directly. It's more like solving the problem to help you to decide like when to choose which type of need, right? So video media video is one type of video, and then in the meantime there's the others. For example, enterprise companies or advertising, you have a large inventory of data. Like it can be video like town hall recording, it can be Zoom meeting recording, it can be training video, education video, right? So you just want to quickly store them, index them. If I want to find a certain insights, like which topic was mentioned in which video at what time, those type of search and indexing requirement. And also there's social media, like you're watching a social media streaming, and then there's influencers talk about certain things. For social media, for UGC, like user-generated content type of video analysis, you need a moderation. So make sure there's no unsafe content, there's no toxic information. You want to classify, know what type of video it is. And then last but not least is IP camera, right? So for example, manufacturer have their security camera or doorbell type of monitoring camera. You want to know if the delivery people arrived with a package dropped in front of your door. Is there anybody try to steal your package, things like that. So it is a lot of use case, and every single one may have a very different requirement.
I noticed recently, so I have a Ring doorbell, and they recently upgraded with AI. So like anytime anybody does anything in front of my doorbell, I get a nice descriptive message. It'll even identify like, oh, there's a dog walking in front of your house, or there's a small child approaching the door. Like it's very, very good and very descriptive and kind of useful.
Yeah, I have a sample for the doorbell analysis. Like we prepare it for the workshops, and then we have a problem to find a legally approved video. So my team member, she recorded one, pretend that she's a thief in front of her door and recorded the video. So we will see that. We'll see that shortly. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
legal approval is a problem for us. Yeah, but when it's about a video understanding, get into the details. So there's different type of doing video understanding. There's out of the box models like Ria just mentioned 12 labs video understanding embedding model and the video to text model now available on Bedrock. This is one way to do it. So we will cover embedding shortly. But in the meantime, there is one popular approach is frame-based video analysis, which is surprisingly still very popular in various of use cases, mainly because it offers flexibility. So you can control what you want, what you're looking for, and you can also optimize the cost. So which means frame-based sampling basically means I take this video, I capture screenshots out of the video based on a certain interval. For example, you can do 1 frames per second. You can do more often, less often, depends on your trade-off in between accuracy and cost. And then once you sample it evenly, you likely will get some similar frames, right? So for example, the frame captured at 1 second and 2 seconds are highly similar. And then you don't want to redundantly analyze all the similar frames because it's increasing cost and latency. So the second step is to remove the similar frames. So using the tool offers two methods to do the deduplication. One is embedding based, which we generate vectors for the adjacent frames and compare the distance utilizing the vector algorithm like cosine. So you remove the similar frame, or it can be pixel-based open source approach, which is lower cost. And then at the end, you get a less frame, and then you can apply image understanding foundation model on each of this frame. So to get visual portion insights. And then at this steps, you can customize it, right? So for GenAI, we know you can prompt and then to control the output. For example, you can say, I want to summarize what's happened on this frame. So at the end, I can get a visual portion of summarization for the whole video. Or you can say, I want to detect certain type of object, right? So we will see the sample. I want to detect package, person, car, pet for doorbell monitoring videos, right? So you can write a prompts to do that. The benefit of using GenAI is very flexible per the early question. So in the past, if you want to analyze this frame level for the video pipeline, you pretty much train a lot of customized computer vision models, right? And then every time you need something new, you need to retrain your model to do this detection. With GenAI, this process is much flexible. And then this pipeline is not new. Like I see customer doing that 5 years ago.
Mhm.
But
What
mhm.
I was gonna say, what about the audio? Like, it looks like if you know, segment it by frames, you might lose the audio per
Yeah.
frame, right? So how does that work?
Yeah, so for this solution, the audio is like transcribed separately. So we are using, I'm using Amazon Transcribe, which is a managed ASR service. So does speech to text. You're basically providing the video, and then there's an asynchronous process. It generates the transcription. And then at the end of the pipeline, you get both vision portion of metadata and the audio portion of metadata, and then you can do your downstream analysis, right? So this is a part usually you want to manage by yourself because you are the domain expert. You know exactly what are you looking for. The tool help you to simplify the upper stream, which is like a lot of engineering effort involved. So that's the concept, right? Can show you
So
quickly.
how do you decide which model to use? I know there's a number of models that support image understanding now. How do you do like an evaluation of them, or what's your techniques there?
Yeah, we try to provide some benchmark, but me myself is I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of like having a scientific metrics to apply to all the video understanding model. I don't find it works very well. It's because of depends on the type of video you have, and the type of object, scene, action you try to detect. The result may be very different. The metrics can be a good reference, but the easiest way, the most common way I saw how specialists are supporting their customer is take their video and run through different model and to see the result. So it's a balance, right? So we will do both some easy to understand benchmarking across models, and also meanwhile give you this tool so you can test it out. So for the frame sample pipeline, I see the
Sorry to
question.
interrupt, but
Yeah.
I did see a question here, and looks like this user has a use case where, you know, can we use this video search or understanding for live streams like, you know, what we're on today?
Yeah. Good question. So frequent asked question. So the demo we show is more for VOD, like a stored video. You have it on S3, Amazon S3. So you just apply a pipeline to analyze it. For streaming video analysis, it's a very similar concept, right? So because you also, it's more in real time. So for example, there's a live stream, you can capture the frame sampling from the stream, from the visual portion. And in the meantime, you do the real-time transcription. So therefore you get the real-time information from both visual and audio, and then you can do some analysis. So the challenge for real-time analysis is usually latency and accuracy trade-offs, right? So I used to support a customer on like sports real-time detection to serve some, for example, shoppable. It's like there's a football, there's a touchdown happened, and then everybody start to celebrate, and then you can show some ads for the winning team, like their jersey, likely they're going to buy it. Those type of real-time analysis, right? So basically you need a sample quite frequent to detect what happened on the visual portion. And in the meantime, for some of the sports game, audio is very important, such as this video. I talk too much, right? So, and then audio give you a lot of information, which you don't capture from the visual portion. So it's a little more practical decision, like based on your content, you can determine what is the most suitable solution. So if I'm doing this streaming analysis, I will do auto transcription driven. So whenever there's some important events call out from the audio, I will trigger events to capture my visual information as additional input. I hope that makes sense. Like the mechanism side will be the same. It just for real time, you need to be more cautious about latency, because in a single thread, if you capture the frames, likely you're going to have a backlog. So you will need to parallelize it. So, and also there's some AWS service you can integrate, for example, KVS, Kinesis video stream, which can help you to make the streaming receiving part as a managed service, so you don't have to reinvent wheel yourself.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, streaming is a fun topic. Most of the common source we heard from streaming, sports, news, and also like a social media live stream, right? So, but and it's depend on the market if people willing to pay to analyze this type of streams. All right, and then back to the frame-based sampling. So this is a UI. So it offers some configuration you can choose from. So I can show you how it's being set up for real-world video. So first of all, you can choose the sample frequency. You can say, for example, by default, I do 1 frame per second. You can do more frequent if you don't want to miss anything in between the frames. Or you can do less frequent because you want to save cost. I don't really care if I missed anything. I just want to do my okay job to capture the major events. And then there's similarity comparison, right? So after you sample all the frames, it does a deduplication to remove the numbers of images you need to analyze downstream. So for now, there's two ways we provided. One is embedding based, one is pixel based. Basically pros and cons, but easy ways just to test it out. And then on each frame, you can choose, we have some template, but pretty much it's writing prompts. So for example, I'm choosing Noah Light, which is a smaller model supported image and video understanding. It's low latency and also with a capable multimodal understanding. So
just to get some clarity, so this is an application it's a custom application that you've built, that you can filter through all of these options here, right?
yes.
Is it open source, or is it available for folks today to check out, or not yet?
It will be open sourced. So the timeline is next month. This is the application we built for the Reinvent workshop. So this application is part of it. As part of the workshop, we will help you to launch it, upload some video, and walk you through the insights. That's a goal.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I try to highlight is Bedrock has so many foundation models support media, video, image understanding. So from this case, you can just choose the one you try to test out, right? So you can even choosing 2 models side by side to do the same work using the same prompt, and then you can do the side by side comparison, right? So my team uses it for evaluation as well. And then the basic is the part you can control, which is really the revolution of GenAI, is you can customize the prompt. You can tell the model specifically what you try to detect, right? So this one is a template we share for object detection, because using the prompt, you can even asking the foundation model to output the bounding box. I won't elaborate too much on the JSON structure, how you define the 2 configuration to instruct the model to output bounding box, but shortly we'll see the result. So you can define multiple configurations. So for example, I'm doing object detection, and then I'm doing a summary. I want to summarize the frame. You can choose more. So what happened, the pipeline just run these prompts one by one against the same image. And then at the end, you get all the insights. And then you can move on to the next step, which will just upload the video, and then it will start the processing using a step function.
So I know Bedrock data automation, you can also do like similar type of analysis. Can you compare and contrast the different methods that we have, the one that you're showing here versus, video understanding or, getting the bounding boxes of certain objects using Bedrock data automation?
Yeah, Bedrock Bedrock data automation will be part of this tool as well. So it's like another option. Bedrock data automation for video understanding is mostly a managed API. So you just provide a video under the hood. The process help you to do all this analysis, and you get the analysis result out of the box. So the one we are showing is a customized pipeline. It's open source, right? So you have control over every single steps, and then you can potentially customize it, right? So for example, you have some peculiar requirement which is not offered by some standardized solution, and you can extend it, or you want to, for example, control the sample frequency. For example, we see some live stream customer doing very low frequency, like once a minute type of sample, just for sanity check, right? So yeah, so that's the reason I'm saying, although frame sampling seems a little dated, but surprisingly, it's still one of the very popular solution, mainly because of the reason it offers flexibility, right? So you can make a decision, what do you want to do? So Bedrock data automation offers a much simpler, unified solution for this type of use case as well. Yeah, so on the screen, this is the flow diagram architecture diagram. I won't elaborate too much, but pretty much it does what we just explained, right? So you sample the frame, you dedupe, you analyze, apply all the prompts coming in from configuration, and then you store them, and then you do the audio transcription, managed in a step function workflow. Let's look at one of the video I mentioned. My team member Sharon, she recorded this.
That's fun.
Yeah, this video, and then it's a short one, only 10 seconds long, right? And then she tried to pretend that she's stealing her own package. And then we have two prompts defined for each frame. One is object detection. You can see the result come back, and this one was using Nova Light, right? So you can see the model, which model was used for this prompt, and then it shows you the bounding box. And then the second output is a summary. So the prompt I'm sending for this task, ask the model to break down the description into general, foreground, background. So depends on your video, it may make sense. But if it's a screen sharing, foreground, background doesn't make too much sense. But if it's like a real world video recording, it will be, right? So this is a level of flexibility, a lot of cases you need when it's about a video understanding. Yeah, so another one. So you can see it's highlighting the car, person, bounding box, etc., etc. And then at the end of this workflow, we get all the frame level analysis, like summary and the object detection result with timestamp, because when we sample the frame, we know precisely what time at the video we sampled this frame. We also get a transcription. Oh, this one doesn't have transcription. You will also get transcription if the video comes with the audio portion. And then you can take both of this information to do some analysis. For the workshop, we have the notebook, which help you to get the output from the tool, and then you can do your analysis. This is like, because this part is very highly customizable. Everybody have their different style and a requirement. So basically you can just write a prompt, ask, and feed in the information from both visual and the audio portion extracted by the tool, and then ask the model to make a decision. Is there somebody try to steal my package? Right. So you can give it a more clue, like is that people moving away from the camera or moving close to the camera, right? So which can mean different things. So those are the level of really, when you do the actual analysis, there's a lot of details you wanna capture and suitable just to do it yourself. The tool try to help you to capture the generic part, which is upstream, how you capture information from the video.
Did you use did you use AI to generate that prompt that I saw there in that notebook?
Oh yeah, we're using tool to optimize prompt. I don't trust my own prompt. I start from I start from the tool. It's like the simplest, the dumbest way is just I type in the IDE, right? So you can zoom in to make it the font look bigger, but it looks a little crowded for me. But it's just typing, right? So I want to write a prompt for my IP camera analysis. I want to make sure the human is moving closer to the moving away from the camera, and then there will be information this and that, and then the result come back will be much a better prompt, follow the best practice, which usually offer better accuracy, right? So I don't trust myself to write a good prompt as what the AI tool does.
So I think it'd be good to kind of recap a little bit about what we've been talking about here so far for folks who've just joined or who've been on for a little bit long. Lana's going through a pretty interesting demo having to do with video understanding, and this particular use case is around like a security doorbell camera kind of thing, where we're trying to detect a thief, Lana's friend, stealing a package off the front porch, which is a pretty great use case here, I think, in this day and age. But what I'm interested in, so what we did earlier was we looked at how Lana's breaking the video up frame by frame and doing some sampling of those videos to kind of run them through large language models to pick out objects and detect different things going on in the video. But we also started the show talking a little bit about 12 Labs and their video understanding models. Lana, can you tell me a little bit about the difference between like what a 12 Labs model does versus what your technique here is doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's another mainstream, like recently, especially started since last year, emerging trend, which is multimodal embedding. It's a very flexible way to search, dynamically index your video and then to search dynamic search. So the benefit, I can show you how it works, and then we dive into detail how into architecture and the flow pattern. I only have one video indexed using 12 Labs. So what happened is 12 Labs allows you to set up the configuration, how you want to index the model. So by default, it does, there's for any embedding, there's a chunking concept, right? So if you have a text, which is document, which is too long, under the hood, usually you need a chunk, the longer text to smaller clips to generate embedding for each one to serve search. Similar for video. So 12 Labs offer two ways of chunking. One, by default, it is shot-based chunking. So if you see this metadata, you can see it's basically based on the vision portion of transition. Like if there's a camera switch, significant camera switch, usually happen very often in the edited video. And then you will see the result. So this is the default way of segment. And then another way is to fix interval. So for some of the video, you don't really have camera switch. For example, the security camera, the position of the camera is fixed. So if you just do natural shot-based segmentation, it doesn't work. So you can say, I want to apply fixed interval, like every 3 seconds or every 5 seconds, I chunk the video into a clips and generate the segments, embedding for that segments to serve search. So for example, in this case, I can search based on keywords. So I want to search the clips with a red balloon, and then it returned the segment. You can see the girl is blowing a red balloon. And then similarly, because it's multimodal embedding, so you can search against using different type of input. In this case, I'm using an image of the red balloon to do the search. And then it returned the similar clips, right? So because it takes this image to do the embedding and then apply vector search. So like embedding is very popular when it's about a generic video search. So what happened in the backend is like, for example, you have your multimodal data. It can be image, video, text file, or audio. And then you just stage them into storage. For Bedrock, you need to stage them on S3. And then you're just invoking the Bedrock API, in this case, for 12 Labs. It's asynchronous API. You're just passing your configuration. Here's my video. Here is my chunking requirement. And then the model does the heavy lifting under the hood and return the embedding, which is a list of vectors. And then you just store the vectors into your preferred vector store. In this demo, I'm using S3 vectors. There's also the other options available on AWS. For example, you can do OpenSearch, you can do Redis cache for vectors, you can do Postgres, etc. There's a long list of options. So that's
Oh, sorry, Lana, to interrupt, but just to make sure we're all on the same page here. So it looks like that image of a balloon is converted to generate an embedding, and then the video is so the balloon is going to be found in the video in the vector store, right? It's going to be searching for that embedding.
Yeah, so because the video is chunked into smaller segments, each segment we generate a vector. Vector basically is a list of numbers, right? So we call dimension. Like in a 2D world, you have two numbers to determine a position of a object. In 3D worlds, you have three numbers. In vector world, you have 1024 dimensions to determine the position of vectors. And then if you have two vectors, you can compare them to calculate the distance. That's an oversimplified way to explain how the embedding search works, right? So we have this injection flow, which take the video, chunk into clips, generate vectors for each of the clips, store into vector store. And then when I do the search, this is the other route, right? So if I'm either typing a text, provide a text as an input, or I provide an image as an input, it goes through similar process. Using the same model to generate embedding. So I get a list of vector in the vector store. I get a new vector for search, and then it will do the similarity comparison, give me the vectors which is closest to my input.
So is there opportunity to, input multiple images at once? So in, one shot, it does a search for maybe a balloon, a red balloon and a yellow balloon together. S- is that a possibility?
For image-wise, it takes one at a time for now, but potentially you can do the merge. You can generate a new image with two balloons. That's one workaround. And for text, you can just do very flexible description, like find me the clips contains a red balloon and a yellow balloon, right? So that's easier. For video, you can concat yourself, or it can also search by video. If you have a short video clips, it's the same concept, right? So it generates embedding for the short input, and then search against the database to find the closest. Yeah, and also there's ways for example, if your input is bigger, for example, you have 3 images, you can just do a little engineering level iteration. So make 3 requests, and then the result come back. You do a little re-ranking, right? So typical RAG terminologies. Yeah.
I'm curious, from folks that are joined in today, like, are there any use cases that folks have in mind that they see, a good fit for this sort of, application? Feel free to drop in the comments here.
Yeah, it can be yeah. So because we work with video day in and day off, so being very passionate for this type of tool, because a lot of my day-to-day work is customer share the video and then want to detect certain type of thing, object, or serve certain use case. This type of tool helped me a lot to test out the different solutions, different models quickly.
This is awesome. I'm fascinated by this project. I think it's really incredible that you've built all this. I'm curious if you've got any opinions or thoughts about like what the future for video understanding looks like. If there, and we talked about a couple of different techniques. We talked about different kinds of models on the market today. But what do you think is like next? Where do you think we will be in a couple of years from now?
Wow, that's a difficult question. So I don't think I'm in a position to
Maybe 6 months from now.
to vision that, but it's an evolving field. I've been amazed by how rapid the solution evolves in the last few years. So this is already the third version of the tool I built in the last 2 years. If you see, the first version is much simpler. I think the current status, at least I can say, is still like there's a hybrid solution, a lot of different solutions coexisting, mainly because of most of the model there's no silver bullet can solve all the problem in one shot. So that's why, for example, if you just have a basic video search, for example, you have an inventory of ad creative videos, I think Labs embedding model can be a very easy win for you. So you just easily index your video and then you can apply search easily. Because you don't need your search is more common sense, right? So for ad creative video, you maybe search for IAB advertising category, or you want to search, is that a animation, is that a action thing, right? So those type of requirement relatively common. So the generalized model can do a good job. But in some cases, like especially from the media industry, they want something super accurate, and a lot of models still getting there. So it's not saying they're not good enough. It's just they're maybe not 100% satisfy those needs, and then customize the solution still play a role in those type of solution because they're just the accuracy requirement is so high. So moving forward in the future, I hope the generalized model will be more and more capable. So there will be less and less customization requirements needed. Yeah, in general, that's all the trend, right? So you have a magic tool can help you solve all the problem. I no longer need to do the heavy engineering to build this type of tool.
I'm also
So
curious. Oh,
go ahead.
um,
Go ahead.
yeah, so I was just gonna say, so I know we've talked a lot about like video understanding, but what about video generation? How do you see us moving towards that space? I'm not sure if you have any thoughts or experience working in that area, but that would be interesting to hear.
Yeah, I happen to support video generation, image and video generation as well. So on Bedrock, we have a few options available. So the earliest one was stable diffusion, right? And then we also have the first party model, Nova, Canvas, Real, and then the other third party model available for generation. So yeah, so that's another evolving field. Image generation, video image understanding and generation actually very different under the hood. Like the target market, the use case, the requirement are very different. But yeah, generation does have its own fun.
Yeah. You just reminded me, Ria, of the holidays are approaching, and last Christmas was the AI generated Coca-Cola Christmas
Yeah,
ads. I don't
I
know if you saw
remember
those.
that.
I
So
remember.
yeah, last year was the first year they did it, I think, as fully created with AI. I'm really curious to see what they come up with this year.
That's
Now that the year's gone by.
Yeah, so I have a little theory about the generation market. It's my own opinion, right? So not a stand for any organization. It's the easiest route, like we see the most, are the social media generation, right? So there's a social app, or you just access as an individual user, you access a model to generate something for fun, or you generate something for your marketing content, which doesn't have a really precise requirement. That's really the easiest route for foundation model generation, which is the largest market, social media, right? And then on the other extreme, which is a video media generation. So for example, for movies, for advertising, the use case you just shared, it's not that easy because those type of generation requires precision, right? So for that particular Coca-Cola video, I can tell under the hood there's tons of work, right? So it's not like you just write the prompts and magically you get a video.
Mhm.
It's
Like,
a lot of iteration process and combined with a traditional approach to come to an end result. But the industry is really keen to invest into this direction as well, because traditional video producing is very effort intense, right? So they
yeah,
do have a big potential.
yeah, like getting the shape of the bottle exactly right, or getting the
Mm.
font and the color, it's
Yeah,
a big challenge.
the directors are super picky, right? So they have the storyboard. They will start with drafting the shot script. So each shot started with the image. They draw the composition of each shot, how it started with. They define exactly how the actor, actress move, the camera move, right? So you cannot go off. So that's still challenging for most of the video generation model. But again, getting there, right? So the model is evolving in the speed we can hardly imagine in the last few years.
Awesome. I know we're up here at 5 more minutes left of the show, so maybe it makes sense to do a quick recap here. So thanks everyone for joining today. We covered a number of different topics. Thank you, Lana, for joining and discussing your expertise in the space of, AI for video understanding. And it looks like what you've built here today is going to be open sourced in a few weeks. And we're really excited to have that. I'm curious to know from the audience too, like we are always looking for new topics, all things AI, all things development focused. So if there's any thoughts on different episode ideas or something that you'd like to learn more about, we'd love to hear more from you as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Lana, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm curious if you're speaking at Reinvent or have anything going on coming up for Reinvent, or if you know of anything good that folks should be paying attention to for that conference, which is coming up fast.
I know. Tell me about it. I'm swamped. Yeah, so thanks. I have 2 sessions at Reinvent. If you will be there, so happy to connect. And then thank you so much for having me and let me talk about my passionate topic, video understanding.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of a side pitch for Micah and I, we will both also be at Reinvent. So I'll be doing a session specifically on QDeveloper, one of our AI dev tools. So it's a workshop session. Reinvent is the first week of December. So if anyone is planning to go, we would love to meet you all. And Micah, do you want to do a quick pitch on your session as well?
Yeah, thanks. I'm doing a workshop this year about event-driven architecture. So a lot of the stuff that Lana was talking about earlier with the pipeline, the step functions, workflow, how all that kind of sticks together, that's going to be what our workshop will be focused on, helping developers learn how to build their first event-driven application on AWS.
Nice.
Cool. Awesome. This was a really fun show. Lana, thank you so much for joining us today. I feel like I need to go back and do a bunch of homework now because I've learned so much and there's a whole world out here about video understanding that I didn't really know too much about earlier. So I've got my work cut out for me, and I'm going to try to figure out how your workshop works or your demo works and see if I can get it running for myself as well.
Awesome. Let's come join my workshop. I have another workshop which is for Noah Sonic, the speech-to-speech conversation model. If you're interested, just marketing it a little bit. Yeah.
I saw this video released lately. I don't know if anyone here has seen any videos of the humanoids. So it's like a humanoid robot, and there was somebody that programmed the robot to use Sonic, the speech-to-speech model, to converse with it. And it's so cool, like seeing that integrated within robots, which I believe is the next wave. So Lana, I'm going to be joining your session.
Yeah, come join us.
Looks like we'll be doing an Agent Core session soon. I see the comment from Warren. Yeah, we're going to dive deep on Agent Core, I believe, maybe next or the one after that, but that'll be happening soon. So we'll be around next month. We'll be sending out some alerts to let you all know how to join again.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks everyone for joining today.
Thank you, everyone.